Over to you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to today's webinar on IP funding opportunities for startups and MSMEs, igniting growth through innovation. I am Dr. Himansha. I work for Qualcomm, and I'm also the co-chairman of ASSOCHAM's National IPR Council. And in today's webinar, we are joined by Dr. Vinita Jindal, who I will be introducing in some time. But before we get started on that, I thought of giving an overview about what this program L2 Pro is and what led to the genesis of it. We have been running various startup programs in the country over the years, and if you've seen, even recent startup IP filing advancements, it's a very encouraging sign. Can you hear me? I guess Dr. Jaspreet is saying that I'm not audible.
I can hear you well, sir.
Okay. I'll try to speak a bit louder. Hopefully that may help things. Uh, But the idea for L2 Pro came from interacting with various startups, and as we were, conducting IPR workshops with them, and I think that's where we realized
Sir,
that.
excuse me. You can speak loudly. Your voice are very slowing.
Okay, then just give me a minute. Let me see if I can find my headset.
Start that now.
I'm going to do a mic check. Can you hear me? Maybe in the chat box, if you can
Yes,
type.
sir.
Is my audio better?
Yes, sir, you are audible now. Sir, you go ahead. Your voice is audible.
Hello, just doing an audio check. Can you hear me? All right, thank you. So the genesis for L2 Pro. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to go off video then. Maybe that can help. So the genesis for L2 Pro was in working various in conducting various workshops with the startups on IPR. I think that's where we realized that there was a big gap between what the awareness was and what the startups were working on. And when we started conducting these workshops, we uncovered a lot of misconceptions which sometimes the startups had, and over time, we worked towards it. And that journey, lasted for a number of years. It's still ongoing. And we took these observations and shared them with the DPIIT, and that led to ultimately, the launch of this program called L2 Pro, which is in partnership with DPIIT, CPAM, and NLU Delhi. And the idea being here is that most startup founders and CTOs, they are really interested on the product development, on the innovation side of things. But they, as a leadership organization, they need to turn a bit of their focus towards IPR awareness. So L2 Pro is a program. It's a completely free e-learning program that will help you to better understand the various aspects of IPRs, particularly how we should protect your innovations with patents, how we can use copyrights, develop trademarks. And a key point is that IP should be a core aspect of your business strategy and your business model. Ultimately, as startups and R&D organizations, you are working on various innovative efforts that should deliver further value to you. And over time, we need to have you innovators, give arm you with information that allows you to bring these innovations quickly to the market. The course is spread across 3 different modules: basic, intermediate, and advanced. In my opinion, everyone should go through the basic module because it teaches you all the fundamental aspects of IPRs. Intermediate level gives you a big bit of a glimpse into what goes on behind the scenes. As startup scale, as your organization scales, you should know, for example, what kind of agreements you got to have with the employees that are joining. You should also know what kind of NDAs you should be signing with the various parties, how the filing process works, what goes on behind the scenes at different patent offices. And the advanced level introduces you to aspects such as how we can get better funding. Some of this we'll dive into in today's webinar. You will also get an introduction to how standard setting organizations work, and should you find disputes, what should your recourses be. At the end of each level is an assessment examination. It is a combination of both case study as well as factual questions. And the idea of the case study is that this is a situation a startup is going through. What will you do if you are in those shoes? Because see, the idea is for everyone who's going through this program to become a practitioner. This content is also provided in a more interactive format. So you will find screenshots over here from the app. So this is a screenshot which is showing you where you can find the various patent facilitators who are there on IP India webpage. We'll have pop-up quizzes that keep things a bit more interactive for you. We also know that our time as learners is also precious. So every lesson is armed with a roughly 2 minutes introductory video and a roughly 2 minutes summary video. So if you give about 5 minutes, you have understood about 70% of the course material, and the rest of the content, you can just take it on as a reference basis. There is also certification as a part of this program, which is completely free. So at each level, you can get a certificate which is issued to you by DPIIT, by Qualcomm, and by NLU Delhi. So just pass the assessment examination for every level, and you will get the certificate. I'm happy to share that L2 Pro has been taken by more than 7,300 learners as of today. So we look forward to having you on there. Now, for today's webinar, we have a very interesting speaker, Dr. Vinita Jindal, who is with BIRAC. Dr. Vinita Jindal is working as a DGM and the head of tech management at BIRAC, which is also known as the Biotechnology Industry Research Assistant Council. This is the Government of India enterprise. Dr. Jindal holds a doctorate in plant sciences. She was awarded the DST Women Scientist Fellowship in the area of IP rights. Dr. Jindal is a registered patent attorney at the Indian Patent Office, and she's also a registered technology transfer professional, RTTP. She has over 15 years of experience in the areas of IP and technology management. At BIRAC, she mentors the startups on devising the strategy for patent filing and their protection in different jurisdictions on technology licensing and acquisition. She was also selected for the tech transfer course offered under the Kurana program, sponsored by the Department of Biotechnology, DPT, Government of India at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And prior to working in BIRAC, she has experience working for different law firms such as Lakshmi Kumar and Sridharan and Jaffa and Javali. Dr. Jindal, I know she's very passionate in working with inventors and scientists. We are very fortunate to have her on the program. Dr. Jindal, looking forward to hearing your views and your thoughts on today's course.
Thank you, Dr. Hemant. Thank you, Parul and SHM for having me here and giving me an opportunity to share, some insights on the topic which have been given to me. So maybe if quickly I can share my slides. Okay. Are they visible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So Today I will be, very briefly will be discussing about the IPR funding opportunities for the startups and MSMEs. And so what I have tried to do in this for the today's session, so I have structured, two important components. What are the, BIREX initiatives, and I also be taking up the other ministries who have, funding schemes and programs available for supporting the IPR. And also, I will try to cover the importance of the IPR in technology transfer and licensing. So these 2 points I would like to touch upon. So I'll start with the BIREX initiatives on IP and technology management. So maybe you might be aware of the BIREC, or which we call it as a Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council. So the name itself defines the role of the organization. So it's a council or the organization which supports the biotechnology industry to perform or to carry out the research. So basically we are providing the assistance. So we are the assistance council. So how we started, we were started by the Department of Biotechnology in the pilot program in 2008-2009, and later on we got converted into a council or a company in 2012. So we are a Section 8 not-for-profit organization and Government of India enterprise, where we nurture the innovation from ideation to the commercial, we take ideation stage to the commercialization stage. So basically we are a central agency which empowers, enables and accelerates the biotech innovation ecosystem in India. And our role is basically to support these startups, entrepreneurs, medium and large sized companies to basically the support goes for the high risk innovations to develop the affordable products which can meet the or address the unmet needs of the society. And we work in different themes, of course related to the biotech sector, because our name says biotechnology industry. So we target towards the healthcare, industrial biotechnology, agriculture, and allied areas like secondary agriculture, waste management, sanitation, and clean energy. So within the BIREC, if we see, we have also housed, different program management unit, which were, supported by either by the Department of Biotechnology or directly from the government initiative. So we have a number of program management unit in addition to the, core function of the organization. So we have Grand Challenges India, which is actually, which is supported by the Bill and Gates Foundation, National Nutrition Mission, which is directly, governed by the Government of India, National Biopharma Mission. Again, it's a, DBT and World Bank partnership. Mission COVID Suraksha, it came from the Government of India, program or the initiative. NCP mission, again for the vaccine development. It's a Government of India plan for having a mission on vaccine related technologies. And also we have a Make in India cell where we work with the different units of the PSA and Startup India and Invest India. Within BIREC, if we see, so our basic role is to provide the innovation funding, to fund the startups, to fund the entrepreneurs, whether they are at the ideation stage or they have crossed the ideation stage to proof of concept or early stage, later stage development. So our one component is providing the funding. The other main component is also for promoting the startup or entrepreneurship development in the country. How we can bring more and more entrepreneur in this sector. And the other component is providing a vibrant ecosystem where all the startups, all the innovators and entrepreneurs can thrive or can survive in this ecosystem. How they will be able to survive if we have the funding, if we have the ecosystem, if we are providing the infrastructure, the investment programs or the mentoring, whether it is related to the technology transfer, IP, or regulatory compliances. So everything we are catering for the startups and the entrepreneurs, and also the product commercialization. So within BIREC, we have supports available from lab to market, which we call it as lab to market support, and it starts from the ideation and it goes up to the commercialization or the market. And how we take it from ideation to market, we have a different programs which we have structured within the BIREC system, which start from the undergraduate to graduate students and the postgraduate, and of course the postdocs and the PhD students. They can also apply at different levels for the different programs. Like if I can mention EUVA program, basically is for the the students who are pursuing the graduation or the post graduation. They can apply under this EUVA program or as a EUVA fellows. And they also there are different EUVA centers which we have created. They get an opportunity to immerse or to get the mentoring for their translational project, which they will be taking up as a EUVA fellows. So these kind of programs which we have created to build the ecosystem. And we have programs for developing the proof of concept, early stage development and later stage development. In addition to this, we also have the equity programs. So if we see on the left hand side, top left hand side, we have a seed fund, lead fund and the ACE fund program, where our partners take the equity on behalf of the BIREC. And if we see, so these are the funding program to perform the research, to carry out the research. But in addition to this, what we have done, we have created the infrastructure facilities, which we call it as a BioNest or the bio incubator facilities, where any entrepreneur can go and can incubate themselves and get the access of the infrastructure, mentoring, and funding opportunities. They can also identify with the help of the incubation center for carrying out the research and development. So if we talk about in terms of supporting the patenting and technologies transfer for the innovation which entrepreneurs or the startup companies are developing. So within BIREC, we have a BIREC Path program, which we call it as a patenting and technology transfer for harnessing innovation. So what we are doing under this program? So first of all, call is open throughout the year. The only catch in this program is currently this program is open only for the BIREC innovators or the startup companies. So whosoever has received the BIREC funding for carrying out the research, they can apply under this to avail the support for patent filing under this program. So this program has two components. So one component is basically we are tapping the IP which can emerge from the projects which we are funding, and where we are providing support in terms of financial support with the help of the empaneled firms, IP firms, and we support for the patent filing. And patent filing is not only restricted to the India. We start from the provisional, it goes up to complete as well as PCT, and we are also supporting the national phase filing. National phase filing means we also support patent filing in other countries other than India, like US, Europe and Japan, so outside India. The other main component of this program is the technology transfer. So our motive or our intention under this program is where so whosoever startup is funded or the academic institutions are being funded under this program, we have the information like patent application has been filed, and we also know at what stage they are. Based on that, we perform the technology evaluation and try to bring the industry for so that this particular technology can be transferred to the industry. So another component is the technology transfer and commercialization. And in addition to this, what we are offering to the BIREC innovators, so there are two different categories. Safeguarding the IPR, we perform the patent search. Patent drafting and filing we are doing with the help of the empaneled IP firms, and we also provide the patent landscape analysis if any startup requires for this. For the technology transfer, yes, we have a capability of performing the technology evaluation, market evaluation. We have the database, and technology marketing, where we can, identify the companies, of the specific domain from the BIREC, database pool, if that particular company is interested. So that is the technology marketing. Negotiation, drafting of the different type of agreements, license agreements, we are also able to do it. Again, for this technology transfer component, we have empaneled few technology transfer firms in the country, and time to take their services. So another interesting program which we started for, this program is open to any, open to all, any innovator, any startup company, scientist, any, person can join this advisory program, which we do it on second Friday of every month. Under this program, which is the IP and Technology Management Law Clinic Connect. So what we are doing in this program, so we have prepared a, a list of the query, not exactly the questions, but there are different sections under which you can ask your questions to the experts. So basically, we have invited in this program one expert from the patent background and one expert from the technology transfer or the commercialization expert. So basically, our intent is to provide the advisory and mentoring to the startups, scientists, entrepreneur on the IP related matters or the licensing, how we can start the company, or what are the process involved in the technology commercialization, how to file a patent application, basic to advanced questions, anything you can ask under this session. In addition to this, time to time, we do the capacity building as well as the sensitization, IP and technology transfer awareness programs. And currently, our focus is basically, covering the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So as I mentioned in, in my slides about having a World Bank and DBT, partnership, where we set up the National Biopharma Mission. So National Biopharma Mission has a very important component, and which is a kind of a, I should say, it's a unique, initiative which they undertook, setting up of the technology transfer offices. And these technology transfer offices have been set up in different parts of the country. And basically the idea, for setting up these offices, initiating or promoting the translational scientific research into patentable and marketable products. So turning ideas into assets. So our, main motto for establishment or establishing these regional technology transfer offices to enhance the academia industry interlinkages. So as such, we always have a IP cell. I mean, there are IP cells existing in the universities or maybe in the institutions, but somehow they are not strengthened enough where they can bring or they can, deliver the not the targets, but yes, the activities which are mandated towards the IP cell or having the TTOs. So, so our intent was very clear to we wanted to enhance the academia industry interlinkages, and we wanted to strengthen the biocluster ecosystem where we can increase the opportunities for academic institution to translate their knowledge or the technologies into products and processes or technologies. So basically, these tech transfer offices will act as a bridge where academia or the industry can come together at one platform. And we gave them some targets. So they're what we were asking them to deliver on, they have to develop the linkages based on the need of the society or the startup requirement. They have to acquire the technologies, how it can be disseminated, and overall how they will be helping the academic institution or any startup on technology transfer. The other objective was given to creating the awareness on IP, not only IP, but nuances of the technology transfer and the licensing process, and skill development, and of course the mentoring. So these were the 7 tech transfer offices which we have supported across the country. Two are in Delhi, BCIL, and the ITTO, which is housed in FITT, EDC in the Venture Center, C-Camp in Bangalore. And if we see the Sri Chitra, it's in Trivandrum, IKP Hyderabad, and KIT Bhubaneswar. And these, 7 tech transfer offices have been assigned the different jurisdictions. If you can see, in Bhubaneswar, KIT, they will be tapping all the northeastern states, Chhattisgarh and Odisha, for enhancing the academia and industry linkages or strengthening the biocluster ecosystem. So under this program, what we have done, within the BIREC, what we have done, we have created a web page where, any innovator or any startup company can visit this page where the technologies, we have showcased technologies which are available for licensing and collaboration. And that page also highlights the upcoming events in terms of like some technology showcase, are happening, or some event is happening within these tech transfer offices, or if there is vacancy available for if anyone wants to join this network. So we have also, before setting up of these tech transfer offices, we conducted 2 tech transfer training program. One was very basic program on the technology transfer, where we followed the lectures as well as the practical assignments and exercise were given to the participants, and after that they were selected for the advanced program. Basically, these training programs were started and created to identify the pool of the technology transfer professionals, so that they can be certified, and these certification come from the ATTP, which is the Association of Technology Transfer Professional. So we created cohort of around 30 registered technology transfer professionals so far within the India. And so as I mentioned, so these were the initiatives, so far what we have done or created the funding programs for the IP as well as the technology transfer offices. And if we see in addition to this, as I mentioned, we have created common access infrastructure or the instrumentation facilities or the incubation space, so that any innovator can go and have the access of the infrastructure, instrumentation facilities, mentorship, and the networking. And if anyone is interested, this is not this particular slide is not related to the IPR funding, but there are these 3 important programs within the BIREC where any startup company or the academic institution, they can apply along with the industry for their research and development projects. And as soon as they become the BIREC grantee or the BIREC supported innovator, they get the access of the BIREC path. So coming to the the IPR funding opportunities which are available from other ministries and department, I have tried to compile it. One program which you might be aware of, there is a support for international patent filing program for the electronics and information technologies, which they call it as a SIP EIT, and this particular program is by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Basically, they provide a financial support to MSMEs or the technology startup units for international patent filing. And what is the extent of the financial support under this program? They provide a reimbursement. In BIREC, we do not give the reimbursement. We do not have a reimbursement model. We do it on the actual basis. So as soon as we file it, whatever the invoice is, we pay it to the IP firm. But under this program, they have a reimbursement model, and it is related to the expenditure incurred from the date of acceptance of the complete application by mentee. So any innovator or the startup company, they have to submit their application to mentee, and whatever the reimbursement amount based on approval, they will reimburse it to the startup company. And they have set up a limit. And within the PIREC, path program, we do not have, set up any limit on supporting or for the financial support of patent filing. But here it is they have a limit of total 15 lakhs per invention, or 50% of the total expenses incurred towards the filing and processing of the patent application, whichever is less. Either they will get the 15 lakhs or 50% of the total expenses. And basically reimbursement includes the filing and processing of the foreign application filed in respect of the same invention. So they also have one more program where, if you want to host or if you want to do awareness programs or workshops, seminars, especially in the electronics and IT sector. So METI has another program for supporting this awareness programs, and under which how they are doing it. And they have created 3 categories. One is for the educational institutions. They will provide only 2 lakhs. So they have created a capping. So as such, how we do it in PIREC, we have not kept as any capping. But what we do, we if any institution write to us, within 1 or 2 lakhs, we try to cover the expenses with respect to the hosting or doing the awareness or sensitization workshops. If any industry body is writing it to METI, they provide support of the 3 lakhs, and for the METI societies or autonomous bodies, they provide support for 5 lakhs. So another program is from the MSMEs. It is the MSME Innovative IPR, where they provides legal and IP filing support, and they includes IP filing support not only for patent but for the trademark, copyright, design, geographical indications, and they also provide advisory, consultation, patentability searches, technology gap analysis, and everything it happens with the help of the IPFCs, intellectual property facilitation centers, which they have set up at different institutions for the organization. Under this program, again they follow the reimbursement model for the registration or filing of the patent application or any IP, and they have also a capping for the foreign patent application filing. Maximum support they provide 5 lakh. For the domestic patent filing, they provide 1 lakh. For GI, 2 lakhs. Design and trademark, 15,000 and 10,000. So basically, this is for the for the filing charges which they are reimbursing. And we all are aware of this particular program, SIP, which was started by Government of India for facilitating the startups, intellectual property protection. Basically, this program was created to protect and promote the IPR of the startups and encourage the innovation and creativity. What they have done under this program, they have empaneled a number of facilitators to implement the program or the scheme. And the list of the facilitators are available on the Patent Office website as well as on the different websites. It is there. And how it works. As a startup, what they have to bear the fees for filing a patent application and other government fees associated with the patent filing. And as soon as the patent application is filed to the Patent Office, facilitator, which was selected by the startup company, the facilitator, they will submit their claim form for drafting the application. So all professional fees will be given by the Patent Office. So they will reimburse to the facilitator, and they have to submit these documents to get the reimbursement. Under this program, any startup company who is they have to register on the they have to be DPIIT registered startup. Innovators and educational institutions now also can apply to avail the funding support under this program. So these were the few major programs which I came across available for providing funds for supporting the patent filing or trademark or design filing. But like TIFEC also provides support for the academic institutions. suppose the or help them on patent filing. Also, NRDC has few programs available where startups can avail the funding support. So coming to the second component of today's presentation is the importance of IPR and technology transfer. So why we have to have the IP? Why we have to think about technology transfer? So as a researcher or the scientist or entrepreneur, what is our intent? Basically to carry out the research and development, to bring out some product, bring out some technology or processes. But when we think about all these aspects, all research and development, patent filing or protecting the research which we are doing becomes very important. And if we are academic institution, we are a scientist at the institute or the universities, so as a scientist I will not be able to do or take my research up to the final product stage. So I need to have the assistance of the company where they can take my research or the technology at whatever technology readiness level it is present. They have to take it and they will bring out the market, bring out the technology or the product to the market. So basically, I have to protect it, I have to transfer it to the industry. So that is why these two components, the intellectual property rights and technology transfer, both are integrated and important component when we think about or we perform the research and development. So if we see how it actually it starts. So I have an idea, so maybe I can give an example. I apply to the one of the scheme of the PIREC and I get the project, I perform, I do the research, and then I think about filing a patent application and protecting it. And then once the technology is comes to a stage, maybe at the proof of concept stage, or if it is at early stage development, I can think about commercializing it. Maybe I can do it on my own, or maybe I can give it to someone else for further advancement or commercialization. So IP is an important tool or instrument at the research and development level. If you can see, so how research and development phase works. It starts with the ideation, where you generate the idea, you work on the alternative concepts, you check the feasibility whether this idea can work or not, or I have to go back and then identify some other problem. And then if I have checked the feasibility and I have few I have an idea in terms of course my idea can work, then I will start developing it, will take it to the early stage and the later stage development, where I will thinking about launching the my final product. So in between, if you see at the ideation to concept stage, I will think about doing the patent search. And later on, as I move to this ladder of the research and development phase, I also have to perform the freedom to operate search, whether I have a freedom where I can think about bringing my product or launching my product. And in between, if it is a novel concept, novel idea, or novel technology, I will also file a patent application. So we all understand this intellectual property rights and innovation. Basically, if we see, it's all about translating an idea to the marketplace, where what exactly it involves or it takes the creativity, knowledge, all the technical expertise you need to translate any idea. You need to have a passion and innovation. And during all this phase, IPR will play a crucial role in fostering the innovation, where it will provide the legal protection. It will also incentivize any individual or an entrepreneur or companies whosoever invest in the research and development. So basically, IPRs will serve as a catalyst, or it serve as a catalyst for turning intellectual assets into valuable resources, where you can attract the international and local investments. So
Yeah,
we all know about intellectual property rights, so I will not go into it. And if we see why we have to have a robust IP framework, because it, encourage the research and development. It helps
if there
us,
is no expert questions,
attracting the
I will
investment,
general question.
facilitate the
Sir,
technology
how the-
transfer.
For no general question or no expert question. Every question is like is like a good question.
Protects and rewards the creativity, foster competition.
So sir, just
And
how the government and academia can attract the defense and space industry in terms of value
Sir, you
based
can please mute yourself. Thank
to reduce the
Sorry, Dr. Vinita, please go ahead.
no problem. So basically, why we have to have a robust legal structure for IP rights, basically, if we want to increase the research and development, it is important. It also fosters the innovation and creativity by securing the IP rights. So we all know about the different forms of the or the different intellectual creations. We have patents, copyright, protection of the plant varieties, the layout design, industrial design, geographical indication, trademarks. And we are also aware of if there are inventions or scientific science is involved or ideation, we will go for the patent filing. And if there is an expression of the idea, we will try to protect it with the help of the copyright. If they are the aesthetic designs or the ornamental design, we will go for the design. Identity or the brand we have to protect, then we will select the trademark. And if there is any know-how or manufacturing process which is not very much applicable for the patent filing, we will keep them as a trade secret. So if we see, the patent life cycle or any, IP life cycle, how it starts, first of all, we have to disclose the invention, or we have to identify the invention. There is a matter which we would like to protect it, and we perform the search. So before, going for the patent filing, there is an important step is the prior art search, which will give us an idea whether my, idea or concept is novel in light of the existing literature or the patent documents. If it is novel, then I can go for the patent filing. And once it is filed, then patent office, they will start their process in terms of publishing the patent application. They will prosecute the patent application in terms of sharing the first examination report, where they will ask few questions, and if response submitted by us is favorable, they will grant the patent and it will be enforced. So coming to the technology transfer, as I mentioned, mostly it happens from the academic institution to the industry. So if we see the definition, what exactly definition says, so basically technology transfer supports the life cycle of the technology from inception to market diffusion and commercialization. So basically it is the process of transferring knowledge, technologies or innovations from one entity to another entity. And these entity could be anyone. It could be a startup company, the first entity who likes to transfer their technology to bigger company who can manufacture it, who can market it, or could be a academic institution or the scientists where they have developed technology. It's a lab scale technology which they would like to transfer it, or they want to give it to the medium-sized company, or even to the startup company for further development and commercialization or use. And if we see the WIPO, the World Intellectual Property definition for the technology transfer, this says it's a collaborative process. So it's a collaborative process because one entity is coming or both the entity are collaborating, where one entity will transfer their knowledge, their expertise, their innovation to the other entity. So what will happen? It will allow the scientific findings, knowledge and IP to flow from the creators, and creators again could be anyone, such as universities, research institutions, to the public and private users. And these private users or public users could be any organization, startup company, medium-sized companies, small companies, or big-sized companies. So basically, what is it all about is to transform invention and scientific outcome into new product and services that can provide benefits to the society. And if we have to see, like, for successful technology transfer, so why technology transfer is happening? Basically to bring the new products, to bring the new services, to bring the new processes for the society. So if it has to happen, so who all are the integral, factors or the contributor towards this? Universities and the research institution, they are the creator. They need to operate in an effective innovation ecosystem where interconnected network of the government. So government is another, important factor in this. Industry, research institutions, and the enabling factor. And these enabling factors basically are the technology transfer offices or the IP cell, where they can enable the transfer of technology from one entity to another entity. So if we see, this is a kind of process which happens in an established tech transfer office. As a scientist or as an innovator, basically you discuss, so pre-disclosure means you discuss with the technology transfer office manager or the IP person before, having an, to identify the opportunity, whether, this can be qualified or this can be taken up as a matter of patent protection, or does it have also have some potential for commercialization? Once the person at tech transfer office is convinced, they will ask you to disclose the full invention, and they will assess internally, technically, as well as the market opportunities or market potential, and they will also carry out or perform the prior art search based on these three important components, which we call it as a triage model. Based on these three components, the technical feasibility, IP, as well as the market, only those technologies which have the mix of these three things will be identified, will be selected for further protection, and they will be, then industry partners will be scouted. So which we call it as technology marketing. And if negotiation, so after marketing, if any company shows interest and if everything goes well, negotiation will happen. And in between, as a tech transfer office, they will also identify or they will calculate the value of the technology, whether it, if it is at lab scale technology, there is always a possibility it requires more funding to further advance the technology. So, based on that valuation or the value of the technology, negotiation will happen. Once it is, fine to all the parties, license agreement will be signed, and the industry partner will further advance it, and they, maybe within some time frame, they will commercialize or market the product in the. They will take out the product in the market. So ultimately, as a researcher, what you will be getting, so whatever you have developed in your lab as a startup, as a scientist in the institute, you will get the revenue. So there are two important components. One is the upfront fees, which you get at the time of signing of the agreement, license agreement. And there are always royalty, payment of the royalty associated once it goes your technology see the lights of the day in terms of if it goes to the market. So revenue, getting the revenue out of the technology transfer is the important component which can further be utilized again in the research and development by the universities, by the startups. So source of invention, it can come, from anywhere. It could be from the individuals, from the startup companies, large size companies. Of course, universities are taken as a hub of the innovation or the inventions, and the labs. So generally, what is the tech transfer mechanism? It happens because of the two reasons. So technology transfer from donor to receiver. So donor could be university or whosoever have developed the technology. Receiver means who is the taker. So it may occur directly or through public or private technology brokers. So these brokers are basically, we call it as a tech transfer offices, and there are some agencies which specialized in this particular thing. But it is originated because of the two reasons. So technology push from the research side. As a university, we have a mandate of doing the research. So there is always a technology push based on the mandate. So we will be, doing the research on those components. And the another important component is the market pull, where industry is asking something to develop. So from the industry side. So it could happen in these two ways. So just to give you one, example, it is one of the example which I found on the European Patent Office website, where it talks about the interconnection, which I mentioned in my previous slide about the interconnection network with the university, with the government, with the private bodies, how it works. So there is it's a very good example where the University College Dublin and the biomedical research BMR, actually they signed the research collaboration agreement, where they identified potential of the multi-path technology. So basically what BMR what they want to do. So BMR wanted, like, we have to test the different application of the multi-path technology for electric stimulation. So they identified few of the applications, and they collaborated with so this technology was developed by the University College Dublin, but BMR being the industry partner, they wanted to study the different applications. They collaborated, they filed a patent application on the innovative solution. So what they did, University College Dublin, they licensed out this technology to BMR. So what was the role of the BMR? Basically, their role was to validate this technology in the clinical settings or the clinical trials. They secured all the regulatory compliances or approvals, and they launched the product first in the Europe, and they saw some traction in the technology and the US market also. So what they thought about, they took the strategic decision, and BMR basically created their spin out company, Atlantic Therapeutics, and this company was created only to raise the investment to finance the market expansion only in US based on the strong patent portfolio. So, and this particular device was named as Innovotherapy. Basically, it's electrodes integrated into the shots to deploy the pulses to strengthen the pelvic floor muscles. So if we see, so there are two components here, University College Dublin, BMR being the industry partner, and further they spin out or they formed another company, the Atlantic Therapeutics. So if we see important components, one is how they tap the US market, how they attracted the US market for this technology, and they secured. So there were clearly defined roles and responsibilities in the research collaboration agreement. So so for the effective innovation system, if we see, one component was for the source of IP. So source of IP was University College of Dublin, where the innovators or the scientists developed this technology, or the portfolio, patent portfolio they created around this. And they had the technology transfer catalyst or the technology transfer offices. With the help of the office or the knowledge transfer office, what they did, they facilitated the collaboration between UCD and BMR. They identified or they negotiated the key licensing terms with BMR and facilitated the commercialization plan and license agreement with Atlantic Therapeutics, BMR, and UCD. And if we see the IP commercialization aspects, which was taken up by the BMR and Atlantic. So this is an interconnected network or the in short, I would like to mention that to having an effective innovation system ecosystem, we have to have such kind of integration or interconnected network where IP or patent portfolios available with the university, which can be with the help of the enablers or the agencies or the tech transfer offices, can be taken up by the industry and they can commercialize the IP or any technology. So Covaxin, we also know, again, it's an indigenously developed in India, where the Bharat Biotech and the ICMR and this National Institute of Virology, they collaborated to have this vaccine. So now we all know about the importance of technology transfer. Basically, if any technology is available at the university or the institution level, so development of early stage IP or technology into products and process is the main objective, main mandate of the technology transfer. Successful collaboration, you can bring out with the help of the licensing or the sponsored research opportunities or the sponsored research agreements where industry and academia can collaborate. And of course, there will be a reduction in cost during R&D stage in the company. If it is already, at some stage or readiness level, it is available with the university. And the universities also, gain the recognition to develop such technologies, and ultimately licensing revenue support for the research and education at the institution. So if we do not protect any, intellectual property, what will happen? There is always a, chances of, loss of potential revenue for the creator or the loss of credibility. So these are the few, important consequences if we do not think about protecting the intellectual property. Maybe, yes, I can, of course, I can stop here and would be happy to take questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vinita. This was really enlightening and so good to learn with some case studies. So we have time for some questions. So please type in. I hope you can hear me correct, at least Dr. Vinita.
Sorry, Dr. Hemang.
Yeah, you can hear me clearly. Is my audio clear?
Yeah. I think there was some problem at my. No, now it's clear. Tell me.
Sure. Okay, so I think one question is from Mr. Sharad, which is how and where to verify that our innovation is first of its kind and no one invented it before. You've answered this in prior art search. So I don't know if you want to add further to it.
Yeah. So basically, there are the patent databases. So like in BIREC, we have the patent databases which we have subscribed. And for our innovators, what we are doing, if they want to know the novelty aspects, whether it is novel or not, so we carry out patentability search as well as the prior art search for them. So we have access to those patent databases in BIREC. And some of the organizations, of course, the IP firms and these tech transfer offices and IP cells also have access to these databases if they have subscribed.
Thank you. Nibedet is one of the entrepreneurs who I know. He has given a much longer context, which you can read in the chat. But the main suggestion which I have is, can the PATH program be open to non-BIRAC healthcare or life sciences startups?
So currently we are in discussion with the management. Let's see how it goes. But of course, as of today, it is only open to the BIREC startups, BIREC supported startups. But of course, we are working on that.
Okay, great. And I think one international filing question has come from Dr. Deepak, which is, and maybe you can enlighten a bit on the international filing process after you file for India patents. Now, his question is saying once a patent is granted, after that he's asking for filing, but the PCT timeline can be a bit different, right? So maybe
Yes.
talk about it.
So
Maybe you can cover the high-level international patent filing process.
Okay. So once you have filed a Indian patent application, we generally start with the provisional, and within 12 months we file the complete specification at the Indian Patent Office. So there is a time where either you opt for PCT filing, or you directly select the countries outside India where you want to protect your innovation. So within 12 months, you can decide whether I'm going for the PCT filing or I am selecting the convention filing. We call it as a convention filing. So if you are doing the convention filing, so within 12 months, you have to protect your innovation in the selected countries. But if you are taking the PCT filing route, then you have another 18 months where you can decide based on the report which you can get it from the WIPO within this time frame, the number of countries where you will be taking up your patent application to the other countries. So this is a very broad information on the international patent filing.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm going to answer a couple of questions, which is one is on software-enabled patents. Can they, so Ehsan, business models by themselves cannot be patented in India. However, that is not the case for every patent office in the world. It is best to work with patent agents who can guide you on that. For India filings, as Dr. Vinita mentioned, there are these IP facilitators. So if you
Yeah.
go to IP India website, you can find these professionals and they can work on a pro bono basis for you because they build the government. So his question was around the pro bono researches.
So pro bono as such, I'm not aware, but yeah, maybe these tech transfer offices will give you some, broader idea. And because see what happens, it takes time. Whether you go to any of the organization, of course, they would like to have their time investment for performing any patentability search. But of course, on the broader side, they can give you an idea on the patentability part of any innovation.
Great. Now, one question on TRL levels comes from Dr. Jitendra Kumar, that how can we transfer? Can we transfer technologies below TRL 5? And in that case, how do you find potential tech transfer adopters or tech buyers in the market?
So generally, what we have seen below TRL 5, there is, I mean, they are taken as a POC or the very, very early stage technology, where, chances of success is very less. So I take this as like within BIREC, because we have different programs for, advancing the technologies. So if you are the company, you can directly apply to any of the program where you can enhance or you can move up on the technology readiness level. But if you are the academic institution, of course, in one program, you have to bring the industry in while submitting the proposal. So, so what will happen? You have to convince the industry where they will not be bringing any, financial commitment from their side. So what happens? Why generally, below TRL 5 technologies are not generally taken up? Because industry is not sure whether we can rely on early stage technology. And we will also be committing as an industry or as an academic institution or as an innovator. I will be hoping or thinking industry will give me some revenue or maybe the licensing fees. But if it is at below TRL 5, industry would not like to commit any financial thing because they are not sure about the technology. So if any industry you have in your mind and where what you can suggest to them okay, don't bring any revenue or the licensing fees component at this stage. We will write a research, collaboration project. You can submit it either to BIREC or maybe, depending on the nature of the technology, you can go to the different organization where such collaborations are applicable. You both develop the technology. You both, utilize your expertise and experience for advancing the technology. So this is the model which, we always advise. That's why the research collaboration is very important for bringing the technology or moving up the technology readiness level.
Thank you, Dr. Vinita. There are a couple of patent prosecution questions which I don't think we can answer. So, Sarunji, please, follow up for your query with your patent agent. We won't be able to chime in on the specifics. A question from Shadab is regarding, IPR funding options in the field of drones. He has filed a patent on a pretty interesting domain. So Shadab, later on when this session will be posted on YouTube, you can refer back to some of the initiatives that Dr. Vinita shared. Specifically, you should look at the MEDI funding, which is for international filing, where it's supposed that I think that will be of very close relevance to what you're doing. So I'm just going through the chat box, which is, and we can take one last question in the interest of time, which is, it's a question from Mr. Naga Tirunalesh, which is how to estimate or measure the value proposition of their patent which has gotten granted. So I guess the question is around IP valuation.
Yeah, so there are different, methods for identifying the or doing the evaluation of IP or any technology. So first, a very basic, which everybody can do it, how much, quantum of fund you have utilized for doing the research and development or bringing it to that level, maybe at the POC level. So it includes everything like how many, scientists or JRF or SRF you hired, what are going to be electricity, what are, charges, the chemicals or the instruments which you have utilized, the space, and the funding if you have received from any organization. So everything is calculated. So it will give you a rough idea what is the rough estimation or the rough valuation of your technology. But there are few advanced valuation methods which is being implemented by the professional organizations for identifying the proper valuation of the technology. But this is one of the very very basic, but it will always give you an idea on the valuation of the technology. And you can also include in this how much you have invested in the IP filing, whether it is a patent, trademark, or you have filed patent as well as trademark or designs also. So everything will be calculated to have the rough estimation on value part of the technology.
So I'm going to take one last question if you don't mind. This is
Please.
Suma Panala, which is, can individual inventors license their inventions to government organizations? And have there been any such cases before?
So I have not seen any such cases before, honestly, in the BIREC ecosystem, because we always, being a part of the IP group at BIREC, we always advise if you want to bring the credibility for your developed technology, always form a startup company, because the taker or the receiver of the technology, they would also want to see the credibility aspects of the organization they are interacting. So I've not seen any cases so far where individuals have licensed out any technology, to the government organization.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Vinita. I know we can continue these Q&A, sessions for a much longer time. but we are 10 minutes past our scheduled time, and I thank you especially for providing such valuable insights. Thank you to all the attendees for taking a wonderful afternoon out and dedicating it to intellectual property rights. We wish you all the very best for your initiatives, and deep thanks to the SHM team for making this event happen. So thank you all. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.